Namo Amida. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, in whichever realms of existence you are, whatever mind states you're in, whatever conditions you're in. You are most welcome to my channel. Wanted to do another video, another individual video tonight to just kind of reflect on some of the things that are happening as I've been reading, taking the instruction of Reverend Ray to read through and through all three Pure Land Sutras and then the collected works of Shinran. Which is what I've been doing the last, I'd say, couple of months, maybe. Couple of months, 2-3 months, maybe. I'm not sure how long it's been, but I probably read, because when I read, I have to reread and reread, or listen. When I listen, I have to re-listen and rewind and when I'm listening to it on, I use the Jhana Sounds channel to listen to the Pure Land Sutras. And others. I've listened to other sutras there as well. But right now I'm listening to the Pure Land Sutras, and I have to just read. And so I probably, with the longer sutra, I've probably listened to each of them so far, except for the Contemplation Sutra, or Visualizations Sutra. I've listened to the longer sutra at least 36 times, and heading for that with the shorter sutra. I would say I'm probably halfway there with the shorter sutra, as I've been listening and reading that, and I mostly listen to it because it's just easier for me to absorb things, and to have the time to. I don't often have the time to sit down and read. But anyway, so there's and I've started to listen to the Contemplation Sutra as I'm going to bed. Before going to bed, as I lay down, I listen to it. As I'm going to sleep. Actually, I started doing that because this is something I've talked about before, that I will listen to recordings of the teachings of writings of Shinran or Renyo or the sutra, the Pure Land Sutras, as I go to sleep, so that it's even there in I'm even listening with my unconscious mind. So anyway, I started doing that with the Contemplation Sutra. But I am gonna, once I feel like I've absorbed what I can through this reading of the shorter sutra, I'll move on to the Visualization Sutra, or Contemplation Sutra. Anyway, so I'm following that instruction of his to read them through and through, and the three Pure Land Sutras and the collected works of Shinran through and through. It'll probably take me a while to get through the collected works of Shinran, but I just wanted to share what's been happening, or what I've been experiencing. Continue to share what I've been experiencing since I've been doing this, reading for myself the three Pure Land Sutras, and I will eventually read the collected works of Shinran. The idea is to get a personal, direct, better understanding of the teachings through doing that. That's what Reverend Ray, why he suggests that, why he instructs this. And so that's what I'm doing. So, because I reached a point where I was hitting the wall again, and Kyokan reached out to Reverend Ray on my behalf, and this is what he suggested. So anyway, or what he always instructs anyway. So again, just want to talk about that. So one of the things that really struck me in reading the larger sutra, was the moment when it's talking about the sort of bodhisattvas, what the cycle that all the bodhisattvas present will go through or went through, and to the point where they're under their Bodhi tree, and and they emit a great light to let Mara know, to inform Mara of what he's about to do, and in achieving enlightenment. And then Mara comes to test him and tries to distract him, or tempt him, or what have you. So anyway, it occurred to me that that's like the way I'm reacting to the way I react when I get to this point of hitting the wall. It's almost like Amida's light, not me emitting a light, but the Buddha, Amida Buddha's light was emitted and is shining, obviously is shining everywhere, in the 10 directions. There's no place that it does not reach. And it's reached me, obviously. And, when I'm getting to this point where I'm hitting the wall, it's almost like my internal, my personal Maras are like coming to bear to try to throw me off this path, and so I'm starting to recognize the way I question the Dharma, in the so-called rational way, my cynical, quote unquote, cynical, rational, philosophical way, arrogant way. I'll think I found the loophole, or I found the, I'm somehow, undermining, or not undermining it, but I'm seeing through the, the teaching somehow, and that it's just like every other religion, and on and on and on, when I know it's not. I know absolutely it is not like every other religion. It is so far different from other religions that you can't even, it's like, it's not even like comparing apples and oranges. It's like comparing, the rarest, most magnificent fruit of, the heavens, with, I don't know, like an ordinary raspberry, and that doesn't even, so anyway, so I know it's different, but my mind, that sort of, that, kind of, habituated kind of rational, rationalist, cynical, skeptical mindset comes in and thinks it's being so clever, and thinks it's being so, I'm starting to see that's just my ego. That's just my personal Maras, the 4 Maras, coming to bear to try to throw me off this path. We've got the, it's like the ego. It's like my ego is fighting for its life almost. It's fighting for its existence. It sees the threat, and it's like, well, okay. So I'm starting to see a lot of these barriers and questions that arise in me as that. It's almost like Amida's light is saying, I see you, Mara. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like that. It's almost like Amida sees you, Mara. That's almost like what I'm getting to the point of doing when those kinds of skeptical, rational, quote unquote rational, so-called rational, cynical thoughts come up and occur. whether they're more subtle or more calm or much more aggressive and arrogant, and pissed off and, trying to lambaste it all and, call it all wishful thinking and all of that. I'm seeing it is like Amida's light is enabling me to say, Amida sees you, Mara. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like I'm seeing it for what it is, and any distraction, and even when I'm, there's times where I'm just going to listen to music while I do this thing, or I just want to watch this show, instead of reading listening to the sutras or listening to the Dharma, or other distractions that come up. Hiya, evening. Or other distractions that come up, I'm not saying I don't always act, that I never act on those, but it's getting more often that I'll go, no, I'm still going to listen instead of listening to, I don't know, one of my favorite things I like to listen to on YouTube, about like, I don't know, missing 411 or that sort of thing, or just want to listen to music, my favorite kind of music, or when I say favorite, I have a pretty broad range of different types of music that I like to listen to, but I'll say, more often I'm enabled, I believe, by Amida to say, you know what, no, I'm going to listen to the sutra right now while I'm doing this thing or while I'm doing that thing, or instead of watching this television show, I'm going to try to read the sutra here, it's that sort of thing, like, so when those distractions come up, it's like Amida is saying, I see you, Mara, or I'm saying, Amida sees you, Mara, or I see it like a yaksha, the yaksha trying to be real, trying to question the sage or the teacher or the monk or whoever, trying to throw them off. I'm not equating myself with the teachers or monks at all. I'm not even close to, I'm just an ordinary total freaking bamboo. But it's like that. It's the yaksha trying to taunt me, trying to, or, especially when the questioning gets really aggressive, it's, or it's being very clever. My mind's being very clever, it's a bit of a yaksha. I'm being a bit of a yaksha, when I'm doing that, and I kind of like, it's like Amida's light is exposing that, and as Amida's light is exposing me and showing me, what samsara is about, what my true nature as a samsaric being is about. Not my true nature. That's not my true nature is Buddha nature, but what the nature of this provisional existence is, what samsaric existence is, what in my own personal life, within my own, is very personal exposure. As that's happening, and I can look back, it's the same pattern whenever I've hit the wall, the several times that I've got to that point where I get just frustrated with the teaching, and it's never going to happen, and I'm never going to have Shinjin, and it's not even real, and blah, 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 and all this and that. It's the same pattern. It's the same habituated, negative, mental states and emotions. It's the same pattern, the same thing. And it's like it's reacting to, and it's reacting. It's like the fake ego. It's this fake self trying to like protect itself or assert itself or just throw me off this path, if at all possible. And and that's all because of the, the light. It's, I'm just trying to think of, like, there's just so many examples of this, as I kind of go through my day, evening, that I could, cite. But it's, sorry, speaking of distractions, somebody was walking by there. So I got a little distracted, but oh yeah, and it's also like, this is another thing that happens, is when I get really hopeless and negative. That's another thing, and then it goes into that, questioning the teaching. I go, the hopelessness, when the hopelessness comes in, and the sense of, like, well, basically effects of, this of samsara, the effects of the saha world, without getting too, specific. But, when I get really dark in my thinking and consciousness, and my emotions get really depressed, and I get, to a point of kind of hopelessness and effort and all of this about life in general, and also toward the teachings. It's almost like that's like almost like a hell being, it's like the hell beings being exposed. The hell world within me is being exposed, by Amida's light. That powerlessness, oppressed, hell, world. And you could probably do it with all the stuff, that's part of the negative emotions. That's one of the, one of the four maras, is the negative emotional states, the negative mind states, habitual negative mind states. And then just the distractions toward pleasure, things that are pleasurable to do or listen to or whatever, to distract me. That's like the God, that's like the God realms. That's the, I want, the Azura wants that, wants that back, wants that, anyway. So it's just like all of these things. It's like when, because Amida's light is shining, that's why I'm experiencing this stuff. It's part of the, the ego being exposed. It's part of the four maras being exposed. As part of the four maras, hearing the name, and hearing, I see you, Amida sees you, Mara, and here's Amida saying, I see you, Mara. It's kind of like that. And I'm just starting to see a lot of the questions I have, or things that I'll question about it, or the doubts I'll have. The doubts I have is just this, is the provisional ego asserting itself, is these four maras, asserting themselves to try to preserve themselves, to try to preserve this identity, this ego, this whatever, and it has no chance in the light of Amida. So anyway, that's what I'm starting to see, all these distractions and all these so-called barriers and doubts that I have, is just, they're being generated. I mean, it's because I'm ignorant. It's because I'm an ignorant bamboo, and full of bono, that I that I experience life this way, and that I have these doubts. But it's like they're being I see them for what they are. Just so because of the light of Amida, because it's being exposed, I see it as my ignorance. That's the reason I have the doubts, is just my ignorance as an ignorant being, as an ignorant bamboo being. And I see the doubts that I have are also being manufactured by the ego self, trying to, you know, trying to, you know, protect itself, defend itself, you know, get me off this path. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm in the hand of Amida. I'm in the light of Amida. You know, Amida's, you know, there's nowhere I can go that I'm not in the light of Amida. So, so yeah, this is just another thing that's kind of occurred to me and happened with me as I've been, you know, going through the sutras. And it, you know, this occurred to me while I've been actually reading the Shorter Sutra. Somehow it just clicked. Something I was reading in there, or just the act of reading it, and you know, Amida's light illuminating it. That's when, while I've been going through the Shorter Sutra, is when this, you know, this occurred to me. This has been happening. This awareness has been coming through Amida's light. So I think I've kind of covered that, talked about that. So I'll be uploading this in the near future. So thank you very much for listening, as always, and see you at the next video. I'll do some Nembutsu now. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. All right. Till next time.